Hello students. In my previous video, we had seen the FP tree algorithm and that was the last algorithm that is there in your syllabus under association rule mining. So we have successfully completed all the algorithms under association rule mining and we are going to the next topic, that is mining various kinds of association rules. This topic is present in Hannon Camber textbook. Yeah, so what are the different kinds of association rules that are present? The first one is a multi-level association rule. The second one is a multi-dimensional association rule. And the third one is quantitative association rules. So what is multi-level association rules? When an association rule consists of items that are present at different levels in a concept hierarchy, then such a association rule, mining such a association rule is said to be multi-level association rule. So here, uh, bias is a dimension, is an attribute. What is the association between a person X buying a computer and a person X buying HP printer? So computer is at the topmost level of concept hierarchy, whereas HP printer is at the bottom level of concept hierarchy. So this is nothing but a concept hierarchy which we have already seen in our theoretical classes. So computer is present at level 1 and HP printer is somewhere here is present at level 3. So when we have items in an association rule which are present at different levels in a concept hierarchy, then we say such a association rule is a multi-level association rule. Now, what do you mean by multi-dimensional association rule? When an association rule consists of more than one dimension, then it is said to be multi-dimensional association rule. Here, age, income, and bias are the three dimensions, are the three attributes that are present in the association rule, and that is why it is multi-dimensional in nature. Now, what do you mean by quantitative association rule? When an association rule consists of an attribute which is quantitative in nature, which is numeric in nature, then it is said to be a quantitative association rule. Here, age and income are quantitative in nature, and that is why it is said to be quantitative association rule. Although we have three types of association rules here, we are focusing only on mining multi-level association rule. So our following topic is based on mining multi-level association rule, and we do not have mining multi-dimensional or quantitative association rules in our syllabus. So let's focus on mining multi-level association rules in the next slide. So as you can see here, this is nothing but a transactional database, and what you can see here is that we have items at a very specific level of abstraction. If you can see here, T100, the transaction T100 has IBM ThinkPad T402373 and T500 has IBM ThinkPad R40P4M. So these items are present at a very specific level of abstraction. If I say just IBM ThinkPad, then it is at a high level of abstraction. If I say IBM ThinkPad T402373 or R40P4M, it is at a very specific level of abstraction because the specification of the users are increasing, and that is why it is at a specific level of abstraction. Now, what do you mean by mining multi-level association rule? Finding out or trying to figure out the association rules which involve items which are present at a different level of abstraction. Mining such association rules are said to be mining multi-level association rules. and this is a concept hierarchy. So if on the left hand side of the association rule I have computer, if a person buys computer, then what is the probability that he buys a HP printer? So the items are at different levels. So how do we mine such association rules? So when I'm talking about how do we mine such association rules, the thing that we have to think about is how do we specify the support or the confidence for such association rules, because there might be 100 customers who buy computer, but there could be only 20 customers who buy IBM computer, or maybe 30 customers who buy a Dell laptop, or maybe 40 customers who buy a Lenovo laptop. So if I consider an item which is at a higher level of abstraction, then the occurrence count is much bigger when compared to the items which are at a lower level of abstraction. So the support count which is given at a higher level of abstraction may not hold good when compared to the support count if the same support count is given to the items which are at a lower level of abstraction, because the items which are very specific in nature may not be bought as many times as those items which are present at a higher level of abstraction. So how do we mine such association rules which involves items which are at different levels in a high concept hierarchy? Yeah. So it is very difficult to find interesting purchase patterns at such raw or primitive level data. For instance, if IBM ThinkPad R40P4M or Semantic Norton Antivirus 2003 each occurs in a very small fraction of the transactions, then it can be difficult to find strong association rules involving these specific items. So how do we go in about finding such association rules? So there are three techniques that are provided. The first one is the uniform minimum support for all levels. The second one is reduced minimum support at lower levels. And the third one is item or group based minimum support. Now we shall see the first one, that is uniform minimum support for all levels. Now what this says is that we provide minimum support, same minimum support for all the items that are present at different levels in the hierarchy. Now you just concentrate on this figure here. Please do not concentrate on 10%, 6% and 4% here. Only concentrate on 5% here. What it says is that uniform minimum support. So minimum support is 5% for computer, which is at a higher level, as well as 5% for laptop computer and desktop computer, which is at a lower level. So we give same minimum support for all the items which are present at any level in the concept hierarchy. Now this technique is very easy to implement, but it has some cons. So what are the cons associated with this kind of an implementation? Now, it is very unlikely that items at lower levels of abstraction will occur as frequently as those at higher levels of abstraction. True. If the minimum support threshold is too high, it could miss some meaningful association occurring at low abstraction level. If the minimum support is given too high for the items which are present at the low abstraction level, then there are chances that we might miss out some association rules. In the same way, if we give very low minimum support for the items which are present at a high abstraction level, then it might so happen that it produces many number of association rules, right? So the concept here is that if you provide a very high minimum support for the items which are present at a lower level of abstraction, then we may not get any association rules because the count will be very small when it comes to very specific items which are present at a lower level of abstraction. In the same way, if we provide a very low minimum support for the items which are present at the high level of abstraction, then it might result in many number of association rules, which may look uninteresting for the business. So this approach actually led to the next approach. So what is the next approach? Reduced minimum support at lower levels. So what is done here is that the minimum support, now concentrate only on this. The minimum support given to the items at a higher level is much more than the minimum support which is given for the items at a lower level. So computer is given 10% of minimum support, whereas laptop computer and desktop computer is given as 6% and 4% respectively. So since these items are little specific and the term computer is more generalized, for the specific items we give a lesser minimum support, and for the generalized items we give a larger minimum support. Now going to the third technique, it says using item or group based minimum support. Now this is something like you are customizing the minimum support based on the type of items or some group of items that are how frequently they are sold, or or maybe on the items of interest. Yes, if a business know that customers go in for Dell laptops more frequently, then you make the minimum support for it much higher than the laptops for which there is lesser demand. So you basically set the minimum threshold based on the how the items are sold out, or based on the interest of um, items of interest. So you group such items and then you set minimum support based on how frequently they are sold out. So that's all with respect to mining multi-level association rules. Any doubts can be clarified over phone or through email. Thank you very much.